This is the 10,000 pound Blue Ox tow bar, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to use it, which one you need, and how to safely tow a vehicle behind your RV. Now, if you tow a vehicle behind your RV, or you plan to, picking the wrong tow bars can cost you thousands. So today, we're going to go over the Blue Ox tow bars, again, how to use them, how to tow safely, and why choosing a braking system like the Patriot isn't optional. Hey guys, welcome back to Why Wait. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Chris, and this video is for anybody looking to flat tow a car, SUV, Jeep, or even a truck behind their RV. Now, whether you've already been flat towing for a while and you're just looking to upgrade your setup, or you're totally new to this video is going to be for you. Now, I'm not going to overwhelm you with specs today. What I want to talk about is what actually matters, what to avoid, and how to choose the right Blue Ox tow bars for your rig. Because not all tow bars and tow setups are created equal. Now, at its most basic level, a tow bar basically just connects the RV to the vehicle that it's flat towing. But a good tow bar does a lot more than just that. These arms right here are self-aligning, which means that when you pull forward, they automatically lock into place. And that is critical for stability, especially when starting out on uneven ground. Now, a quality tow bar also manages turning angles, braking forces, and keeps everything tracking straight behind your RV. This is where Blue Ox really stands out. Blue Ox has been around a long time in the RV space, and they're known for three things: build quality, ease of use, and reliability on the road. The materials are solid, the locking mechanisms are simple, and everything is designed to be used by real RVers. When you're hooking up in the rain, on gravel, or at a tight campsite, those little design details actually matter. Now, the most common question that I get is, what Blue Ox tow bar do I need? And the answer is simple. It all comes down to one thing: how much is the weight of the vehicle that you're towing behind the RV? So your tow bars must be rated higher than the weight of your vehicle. And we're talking the vehicle fully loaded. We're not talking about the brochure weight or just the dry weight of the vehicle. You got to know what your vehicle is fully loaded going down the road. This is important. Now, we have a 10,000 pound tow bar right here. That's going to cover most cars, Jeeps, even some light trucks. We wanted to go a little bit bigger because if we ever trade our Jeep in and get a small truck, I wanted to make sure this was going to be still able and capable to tow that truck as well. So keep that in mind when you're shopping and looking for it. One, make sure that it's going to handle the vehicle that you plan on towing, and two, maybe you want to go a little bit higher just in case you switch vehicles down the road. Again, going with a heavier rated tow bar is fine, going lighter is not. And one of the more common mistakes that people are going to make is they're going to get a tow bar that is not properly rated to tow the vehicle behind their RV. And when tow failures happen, well, we all know that's going to be a costly and dangerous mistake. Now, the tow bars are only one part of a safe flat towing system. You still need a supplemental braking system, just like the Blue Ox Patriot right here, because honestly, in most states, it's actually required by law. Now, in the next few minutes, we're going to go over why you need this, how to set it up, and what happens when you don't use one. Now that you know how the Blue Ox tow bars work and how to choose the right one, let's get into the practical side of it. How to install it, how to use it, how to hook it up to a vehicle. Before we hook anything up, here's what you actually need, and you can pretty much get all of this right from Blue Ox's website. They're going to hook you up with everything. You're going to need the tow bars. You're going to need the safety cables. You're going to need a breakaway cable. You're going to need the 7-pin electrical connection, and you're going to need the proper receiver on your RV, again, to slot the tow bars in. And one thing that's really important, you're going to need a base plate installed on your vehicle. Now, I don't recommend installing this base plate yourself unless you're really good with possibly cutting metal and removing fenders and vehicle parts. It's actually quite difficult, so I would get that professionally installed. And in case you're worried about it, when you go to the Blue Ox website, you can put your vehicle information in there, and they're going to recommend and let you know which base plate you need to get, because not all base plates are the same. They're specifically fit for each type of different vehicle.
Now, we actually had our base plate for the Jeep installed at Sewell Motor Coach, the same dealership where we bought our motorhome. And if you haven't seen some of our previous videos, Sewell Motor Coach, located in Harrodsburg, Kentucky, is by far the best dealership experience I've ever had in my life purchasing basically anything, not just our campers and RVs. Doug Sewell and his team really truly care about the customer, especially after you purchase the RV. Keeping in contact, taking care of issues, and that's really rare in the RV dealership world. And if you don't want to take my word for it, just go read their hundreds of 5-star reviews online. It's truly impressive. Not only that, but Doug has his own YouTube channel as well, where he talks in depth about the RVs he's selling, the process he uses for selling, the full transparency, the no risk process, and everything. So I'll have a link up to that video right here where you can go check out some more information. Plus, down in the video description below, I'll have a link to his YouTube channel, website, and all that good stuff. Again, if you guys are in the market for a high quality motorhome, go check them out. Plus, they're doing something new now. They're also getting into selling fifth wheels and travel trailers from Alliance. So that's gonna be some big changes coming their way. I'm excited about it. Guys, again, I can't recommend them enough and want to thank them for sponsoring this video.
Now, installing the tow bar on the RV side is straightforward. Simply slide the tow bar into the hitch receiver, line up the pinholes, and secure it with a hitch pin or a locking pin. You can see we went with the locking pins right here. They come from Blue Ox. They're real nice, and what I like about them is they even have these little rubber dust covers to keep the locks free of dust and dirt. Now, always make sure the locking pin is fully engaged. This is not a place to rush. Give it a good few tugs to make sure that it is locked in there and you're good to go. Once installed, the tow bar should pivot freely. The movement is what allows the vehicle to track properly when you turn. Now, on the vehicle side of it, the tow bar connects to the base plate. Make sure that the arms say up. You want to get that part correct. Each arm connects independently, which makes it easier to hook up even if you're not perfectly lined up. Once connected, you can either drive the RV forward slowly until both arms extend and they lock into place, or you can actually get into the tow vehicle and put it in reverse and slowly back up until they lock. More than likely, they both won't lock. You're usually going to get one to lock, and that's fine. What we do after that is, once we're all hitched up, we usually have Megan walk along with the RV and tow vehicle as I pull forward with the RV until that last locking pin locks down. You do want to make sure that both are locked before you take off. Next are the safety cables, and this step matters more than people realize. Always cross the safety cables underneath the tow bar. That creates a cradle in case of a failure. Make sure the cables have enough slack for turning, but not so much that they drag on the ground. After that, go ahead and connect your electrical umbilical. This allows your vehicle's lights to do exactly what the RV is doing. Brake lights, turn signals, running lights, hazards, all that good stuff. Before you roll out, always do a quick light check as well. It takes 30 seconds and it can save you an unwanted roadside stop. And the final thing you want to do is take your breakaway cable right here and hook this up to the vehicle, because if any of these components do fail, in the unlikely hood that happens, you'll have this breakaway cable which is going to pull this pin, and that is going to lock up the brakes on the vehicle as it separates from the RV. Let's hope this never happens. Now that we have the vehicle hooked up to the RV, let's go ahead and talk about the supplemental braking system, the Blue Ox Patriot right here, and how to hook it up. The Patriot brake sits on the floor in front of the driver's seat, and it applies the brakes in sync with the RV. The cool thing is, it's portable, it's easy to move between vehicles, and most importantly, it dramatically reduces stopping distance. In many states, this isn't optional, it's actually required. And the thing I like about the Blue Ox Patriot is, if we ever switch vehicles, I can take it with me. A lot of braking systems are permanently installed on the vehicle under the hood, and when you sell that vehicle, well, the braking system's going with it too. So that's why, one of the reasons we actually chose the Blue Ox, so that we'll always have it in case we get a new vehicle. It simply attaches to your brake pedal. You pop it right on there, and then this sits on the floor. Now you want to plug it into a 12-volt system, a hot 12-volt system. You want to make sure that it's plugged in to a 12-volt system that is always running even when the Jeep or your vehicle is off. Once you have it plugged in, just power it up. You're going to get a green light, blue light flashing. Make sure you connect the breakaway in case you have an accident. Now you need to slide your seat all the way up against it. About right there. This will change from vehicle to vehicle, just depends on yours. And you want to hit setup. It's going to run a motion, push on the pedal, flashing lights. It'll go green if you're good. Okay, green light, you're good to go. Red light means you need to move some things around, adjust some things until it likes to set up. And finally, one of the last things you need to do is take 2 quick minutes to do a full walk around and double check of everything. Check the safety chains, check the pin connectors, check the locking pins. Give everything a good look, because taking 2 minutes and checking everything out is gonna save you from who knows what, a major headache or anything on the road. And don't just do that when you take off from the campground, do it every time you stop. Every time you stop for fuel, go back there and give everything a look, make sure it all looks good. Before you hit the road, I want to talk about the most common issues that I see people make with the Blue Ox tow bars while flat towing and how to fix them. Most of these are small issues, but those are the ones that can break equipment, cause damage, and lead to unsafe situations. Now, one of the most common issues that usually happens is both tow bar arms won't fully lock in place. This is usually because the tow vehicle and the RV are not actually aligned perfectly straight. This is an easy fix. All you either have to do is get into the tow vehicle, turn the wheel one way, and try to slowly back up until either both lock, or at least you get one to lock. And like we had mentioned earlier, if you got one that locks, that's good enough. We like to get into the RV, I'll slowly drive away, have another person walk with the tow vehicle and the RV watching the tow bars. When the person sees the second one lock, you're good to go. You never hit the road unless both arms are fully locked. Common mistake number 2, people are forgetting to put the retaining clips in the hitch pins. Now, we don't actually use these, we use the locking pins from Blue Ox, which I showed you earlier, and we always give those quite a few extra tugs to make sure they locked on there. If you're using the retaining clips, again, make sure you put those in there, because if you forget this, the pin could easily back out going down the road. Number 3, another common mistake people make is they forget to cross the safety cables underneath the tow bars. You don't want them above it, and you want to cross them. This is going to create a cradle underneath there in case the tow bars ever come disconnected, it'll catch them. Mistake number 4 comes with hitching or unhitching the tow arms from the vehicle. You may have some unwanted binding creating tension, and you will not be able to disconnect. This is usually caused from uneven ground. You always want to find the flattest possible ground, whether you're hitching or unhitching, to prevent this. Now, one good thing about Blue Ox is actually have the anti-binding clips right here, so usually you can release the pressure, and most of the time you won't have an issue disconnecting. The next common mistake doesn't have to do with the tow bars or the RV, but with the actual tow vehicle. Every tow vehicle is different, and you need to consult the owner's manual to see how to set it up for flat towing. I went on the internet one time to look it up to see how we needed to tow our Jeep. I went by that was incorrect. Always go by the owner's manual. There's going to be a section in there specifically on flat towing. You want to follow those guidelines to make sure you don't have any mistakes or incidents going down the road. And always remember to put that e-brake on while you're setting up the hitch process, because you don't want the Jeep rolling away when you're hitching or unhitching either. Now, if something doesn't feel right, here's what to check first. Are both arms locked? Are the pins connected? Are the safety cables crossed? Is the braking system armed? Is the vehicle set up correctly? Most issues can be solved in under 5 minutes. Once you've done this a few times, the whole process becomes second nature. But skipping steps is where people usually get into trouble. Now, if you're flat towing a vehicle behind your RV, let me know in the comments what you're towing. Car, Jeep, SUV, truck, I'm curious. And if this video helped, tap the like button so other RVers can find it. And if you want more RV setup and safety videos like this, consider subscribing. Catch you guys next week.